moments of terror as the earth shook. Crumbling buildings reduced to dust and rubble. The 7.7 magnitude earthquake striking the heart of Myanmar and felt as far away as Bangkok, Thailand. The full scale of the earthquake is still unclear, though experts fear economic loss in the billions of dollars.
A powerful 7.7 earthquake causing widespread damage in Myanmar and Thailand. People throughout the city felt the shaking, with many running into the streets.
It's been quite an ordeal, to be honest with you. I was on my way to a client meeting on an elevated expressway when what I initially thought was a burst tire in the car, because it was sort of swaying a bit. So I pulled over to the left-hand side, and I noticed a lot of the other cars around me were doing the same. And then suddenly we just seen the collapse of the building right in front of us on the left-hand side, which is an area called Jatujak, near very famous Jatujak markets. It was a building which is currently under construction, and the whole thing just collapsed. And obviously, my initial thought was that if anybody is in that building, then 100% it's going to be fatalities for sure. Earthquakes are not common in Bangkok or in Thailand. I've been living here for over 10 years. This is the first earthquake I've ever experienced here. So I think it took most people off guard. You know, people weren't expecting it, or they didn't recognize the signs of an earthquake. There was a lot of fear, a lot of panic, because people don't know what's going to happen next. Are any other buildings going to come down? Are there any flow-on effects on an expressway even, which is elevated? Is that going to crumble?
The Myanmar earthquake death toll has jumped above 1,000. Many people are still not accounted for, as desperate families still hold out hope that loved ones will be found alive. The country's military-led government said in a statement that 1,002 people have now been found dead, and another 2,376 injured, with 30 others missing. Myanmar is in the throes of a prolonged and bloody civil war, which is already responsible for a massive humanitarian crisis. It makes movement around the country both difficult and dangerous, complicating relief efforts and raising fears that the death toll could still rise precipitously. The earthquake also hit neighboring Thailand. Bangkok city authorities said so far that 6 people have been found dead, 26 injured, and 47 are still missing, most from a construction site near the capital's popular Chatuchak market.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verses 4 through 8. Verse 4, and it reads, And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Verse 6, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. Verse 8, All these are the beginning of sorrows. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahak HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Archim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazal, a prophet of doom from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying for the elect nation of Israel. All right, and the elect of Israel. All right, even though Israel is the elect nation chosen by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, so yeah, I got this article coming up about the update on this earthquake that was in Myanmar. Okay, and you know, all this what I just read took place in 70 AD during the Roman Empire, which happened between 67 to 70 AD. This is the revived Roman Empire, and we can see these same prophecies coming to pass. All right. Like I said, we should hear of wars and rumors of wars. You know, in that video, you got a civil war going on over there where this earthquake took place. All right. You got the war between Ukraine and Russia. The state of Israel is battling everybody that's occupying the lands outside of the headquarters of the state of Israel, the land that was divided up according to Joshua chapter 13, verse 22. Everyone outside of that going all the way over to the Euphrates that they're at war with. Okay, surrounded. All right, those wars. All right, you're gonna have civil war here, and it's already starting. You already have infighting between Edom. You got NATO. I just saw an article the other day where NATO wants to replace the United States within the next 5 to 10 years. There's a lot going on. All right, nation against nations. You know, you got the famines. You know, the food shortages are coming. You know, you got eggs, $10 a carton. All right, pestilences. The Center for Disease Creation is talking about more stuff coming back out. All right, and then like it says, earthquakes in diverse places, and that's the part I want to tackle right now, because that is one of the huge prophecies that's supposed to take place. All right, and just to show you, I'm going to be dealing with that earthquake in Myanmar. It was updated as of today, and that was a 7.7 magnitude. And this is the earthquake magnitude scale I got from this a site called Michigan Tech. All right, so you started to feel the earthquake at like 2.5. Okay, it says usually not felt but recorded on the seismograph, and it's millions of those a year. Okay, then it says 2.5 to 5.4 often felt, only causes minor damage. Okay, then it says from 5.5 to 6.0 slight damage to buildings and other structures, about 350 a year. And then 6.1 to 6.9 may cause a lot of damage in very populated areas. Okay, about 100 of those a year. And then 7.0 to 7.9 major earthquake, serious damage, and that's what this earthquake was regarding the article I'm going to read. Okay, and it says 8.0 or greater, a great earthquake can totally destroy communities near the epicenter. Okay, and this is every year or two. All right, so since that magnitude begins at 2.5, I have this earthquake app right here, and I'm gonna pick let's see here, I'm gonna pick all regions and sizes. I'm gonna go from 2+ magnitude. Okay, 2+ magnitude to stay somewhat close to that scale, and tap here at the beginning of the week, or last Sunday, the March 23rd, and I'm gonna hit to today. All right, and it's gonna generate. Okay, look at this. 18. These are diverse places. Okay, you still got the one Myanmar at a 3.6. That's 8 at a 3.60. Okay, that's just 18 minutes ago. All right, so if I keep scrolling down, in another area of Myanmar, Zayatakia, okay, Oak Twin Township, 2.70. Greece. All right, it just continually goes on. Diverse places, earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, look at this. Earthquakes in diverse places. From 2.0 2 plus and up. And I'm not going to count them because this is still today, you know, it's the 29th, so here and most likely other places. All right. This is a lot of earthquakes in diverse places, as the scriptures say. Okay. This is non-stop. This is just 9 hours ago, and I can keep going. Gee whiz, this is just all this week. That's just 23 hours ago. And look how far I've gone back. Okay, 28th, that's yesterday. You think the Lord is out here playing? We were talking about that in camp last night. If Jake can't see it, you know, and turn back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai right now, you know, that it's not looking good. Not looking good. And the cream is starting to rise to the top, as the old saying goes, on who really has the truth and who doesn't. All right? Look at this. That's just Wednesday. It's still going. Earthquakes, and this is just from March 23rd. I'm at the 27th. All right, so you get the idea. It's called the earthquake app, and there's a lot going on, you know. That's just the 26th. In 1 week, all these different locations. Just the 25th. Gee whiz. And all in 1 week. Simply amazing. Look at that. I'm still not at the end yet. All right. Man. All right. So let's get to that article. And this is from the End Time Headlines. It says thousands feared dead from huge earthquake in Thailand and Myanmar. Fears of major dams collapsing, leading to catastrophic flooding. All right, and you heard in that video that preceded, you know, the lesson. You know, thousands of people, over 1,000 people, are deceased. Many more not accounted for, and many more injured. All right. It says update: a devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city, sending shockwaves across Southeast Asia and leaving thousands feared dead in its wake. The powerful tremor, followed by a 6.4 magnitude aftershock just 12 minutes later, has caused widespread destruction in Myanmar and neighboring Thailand, toppling buildings, damaging infrastructure, and raising urgent concerns about the potential collapse of major dams, which could lead to catastrophic flooding. As rescue efforts intensify, the full scale of disaster remains unclear, particularly in Myanmar, where ongoing civil conflict complicates reporting and response efforts. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Civil war going on right now. It says the epicenter of the quake, located approximately 50 kilometers east of Maniwa in central Myanmar, unleashed chaos across the region. According to the Daily Mail, the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, has forecasted potential losses ranging from 10,000 to 100,000 lives, a grim estimate based on the quake's shallow depth of 10 kilometers and a vulnerability of buildings in the area. All right, it's the Lord's judgment. All right, it says in Mandalay, historic structures like parts of the former royal palace and Mandalay University have been heavily damaged, with social media footage showing collapsing buildings and debris strewn streets. CBS News. All right. And we know that guy said in the second clip, I believe it was the second clip, that he's been there for 10 years, and this earthquakes are not common in this area. Okay. So we know this is the work of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, this judgment. Okay. Says the BBC reported a rescue worker in Mandalay describing the damage as enormous, with casualties likely numbering at least in the hundreds. In the capital, Naypyidaw, a 1,000-bed hospital has been declared as a mass casualty area, with its emergency department severely damaged. The doctor at the facility told AFP via CBS News, "Many injured people have been arriving. I haven't seen anything like this before. We are trying to handle the situation. I'm so exhausted." The Guardian noted that at least 20 deaths were reported at this hospital alone, with rows of wounded being treated outside of amid the chaos. Further south, in Taungoo, more than 20 children are feared trapped in a destroyed school, while a mosque collapse in the same town killed at least 3 people, according to Reuters. The Guardian says Myanmar's military junta, already grappling with a civil war since its 2021 coup, has declared a state of emergency across 6 regions and issued a rare plea for international aid. That's per the Daily Mail. It says the Guardian highlighted the junta's statement on Telegram. The state will make inquiries on the situation quickly and conduct rescue operations along with providing humanitarian aid. It says, however, damaged infrastructure, including a collapsed 90-year-old bridge in the Sagaing region, and sections of the Mandalay-Yangon Highway, is hampering relief efforts. That's per NBC News. It says in Thailand, the quake's effect were felt most acutely in Bangkok, where a 30-story skyscraper under construction collapsed, killing at least 3 workers and leaving dozens trapped. It says Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Wachayachai told Reuters that rescuers are searching for 81 people believed to be buried in the rubble, though earlier estimates suggested up to 90 were missing. That's per CBS News. It says the Associated Press reported that 7 individuals have been rescued from the site, but the unstable debris has slowed efforts to reach those still trapped. Bangkok Governor Chadchart Sitaput declared the capital a disaster area, with authorities receiving 169 calls about building damage, per the Guardian. Dramatic footage captured water cascading from rooftop pools and panicked residents fleeing high-rises. That's per CNN. It says Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra cut short a visit to Phuket to convene an emergency meeting, ordering the closure of schools nationwide as officials assess structural safety. That's per CNN. It says this has never happened in 100 years, Wachayachai remarked, underscoring the unprecedented nature of the disaster. That's per CNN. It says adding to the urgency, the Red Cross has raised alarms about the stability of large-scale dams in Myanmar, warning that their collapse could trigger catastrophic flooding. Marie Manrique, program coordinator for the International Federation of the Red Cross, told reporters from Yangon, public infrastructure has been damaged, including roads, bridges, and public buildings. It says we currently have concerns for large-scale dams that people are watching to see the conditions of them. That's per the Daily Mail. The Telegraph noted that cities along Pongolong Dam and Sitong River, including Naypyidaw and Taungoo, are on high alert for potential flood risks. Professor Ian Main of the University of Edinburgh told the Daily Mail that the quake's shallow depth and the region's high population density near the epicenter suggests very severe damage. All right. The building quality will generally not be high enough to survive this level of shaking. He added, predicting a significant rise in casualties as more information emerges. So yeah, there's more deaths to come. That's that judgment. That's that judgment. Okay. Says the timing of the earthquake could not be worse for Myanmar, where over 3 million people are internally displaced and a third of the population relies on humanitarian aid amid ongoing conflict. That's per The Guardian. Amnesty International's Joe Freeman warned the impacts of U.S. aid cuts are just starting to bite, with the Trump administration poised to reduce the $200 million annually provided to Myanmar. That's per The Telegraph. Man, there's going to be a lot of suffering over there. Okay. But once again, that's that judgment. Let me come back to this article, get some scriptures right quick. This is the book of Psalms, Zephaniah 3 and 5. And it reads, the just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. All right. Why is that? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 9, beginning at verse 16. It says, the Lord is known by the judgment. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hagion Selah. Verse 17. The wicked shall be turned to hell, and all the nations that forget Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And we know over there, you have some Israelites over there because we scattered, among all nations, but they primarily don't worship Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, let me just look that up real quick on the net. Pull something right here. New. What God is worshipped in Myanmar. Okay, Buddhism. There it is. Buddhism, Nats. Yeah. All that Hindu stuff. All right. So, yeah. Get back to that. Oh, yeah. So, back to Psalms 9 and 17. Says the wicked, all right, and shall be turned to hell, and all the nations that forget Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And we know the wicked primarily is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, according to Malachi 1 and 4, and also be the wicked of the 2/3 of our people. All right, but it says all the nations that forget Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, so yeah, that judgment is heavy. All right. Back to the article. It says, in Thailand, the government is racing to implement a mobile alert system following criticism over the lack of prior warnings, as per Sky News. It says, as rescue operations continue, the international community is mobilizing to respond to Myanmar's call for help. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen announced on X that the EU is already assisting and stands ready to offer more support. That's according to ABC News. It says, meanwhile, the human toll mounts. So this death toll isn't going to stop. All right. It says, with survivors like Fraser Morton, a Scottish tourist in Bangkok, recounting the scenes of chaos. The whole building began to move. Immediately, there was screaming and a lot of panic. That's per NBC News. And this is from the End Time Headlines. I'll put a link to this article as well as the link to the earthquake scale in the description box of this video. All right, let's get this. This is the book of Second Esdras and the Apocrypha. Esdras is the same, and the Apocrypha is the same as Ezra in the Old Testament. Okay, descendant of Aaron, Moses' brother, tribe of Levi. All right, and it says Second Esdras chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 61. All right. And it says, and therefore is my judgment now at hand. And this is the prophet Esdras speaking with the archangel Uriel. You can get that account. That conversation starts, I want to say, in 2nd Esdras 4:1. Okay. Verse 62. He says, these things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee and a few like thee. Then I answered and said, behold, O Lord, now thou hast showed me the multitude and wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times, just as I was talking about in Matthew 24. All right. He says, but at what time thou hast not showed me. All right. 2nd Esdras 9, verse 1. And it reads, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, everything I said in Matthew 24, okay, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made. And we know the chariot sightings have escalated within the last year and a half. You know, they've always been here, but the sightings have really, really, really picked up, you know, and on the most dense places over our land, Israel, and over here, the United States, that's going to be destroyed. Okay, aka Babylon the Great. Okay, he says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, I showed you all those earthquakes just this week. Okay, and uproars of the people. You got a civil war going over there now. Okay, you got this the riots going on with the deportation stuff going on right now. You got another big rising of the people scheduled for April 5th. Okay, this is happening. This is happening. Okay, and like, you know, once again, I'll repeat, like it was said in camp last night, you know, if people can't see that this is it, you know, this has got to be it. Everything is on the table. You know, you just had Trump, you know, sign that thing for the banks, you know, digital currency. All right, we know where it's going. You see how he's coming down with great wrath on Jake. Okay, literally removing you from history. You know, while the Northern Kingdom is being removed out of the country, and then they're trying to put it as such that, you know, any crime you commit, you can be deported. American citizens can be deported to that prison in El Salvador. All right. One of the prison camps, you know, outside the FEMA camps, and you won't have due process either. Okay. And he says, then, verse 4, shalt thou understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. We're almost home, Akim. We're almost home. You know, stay faithful. You know, we don't know how this is going to go, but we keep striving and driving for the truth. Like the scriptures say, strive for the truth until death, and the Lord will fight for us. Okay. We know all hell is breaking loose, but we know that if we keep striving, he's going to fight for us. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Okay. And I say that I can only imagine the things that are going to happen, but I won't know until they happen. And I just pray and pray and pray and pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that he keeps me strong in those days. Okay. Because it's about to get crazy out here. All right. Verse 6, he says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And we see those signs. Chariots, wars and rumors of wars, many coming in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, false prophets, okay? The Lord exposing the sins. Like he said, the judgment is going to first begin at the house of Israel. We're seeing that, okay? Famines and pestilence, okay? Like I said, wars and rumors of wars. Pestilence, you got these fires going on, stuff going on in the sea. Soon you're going to see those spirits of vengeance. Okay? So this has got to be it. This has got to be it. All right? So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Abab Abal. We got next. Shalom.